This is Business LO, a podcast by the Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce, which connects, educates, advocates, and champions our business community. We have nearly 500 members from international corporations to home-based businesses, and we serve them all. Each episode of Business LO gives insider information to the local business community and the neighbors who support them. And now, let's talk Business LO.
It is Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, and this episode will publish on October 1st. And today we're having an in-depth discussion about the Business Leadership Development Series that the Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce offers, and our guests who have been through the program are here to give us the hands-on details and their actual experiences. We have the Waldman and James Real Estate Group from Portland Premier Keller Williams Realty, Pam Waldman and Laura James. Running the ship today is Heather Graves Ramsey, owner of Coach to Brilliance. She specializes in executive coaching and leadership development. And of course, she is one of the leaders with the Business Leadership Development Program. And we have our very own local celebrity, Chamber CEO Liz Hartman. She's going to share all the insider information we want with what you need to know in LO. I'm Michelle Odell, and let's talk about BLD. Heather, take it away.
So for those of you that don't know, the Business Leadership Program is a program that is different than Leadership LO. It is actually one that focuses a little bit more on organizational leadership and influence. So it's really one that we saw a need for within this community. There's a ton of businesses that would love to send their people or have a program in-house, and they can't necessarily fund that themselves to bring somebody like myself and the other coaches in. So the Chamber of Commerce is offering that as something where people can come together, different industries, different ages, different experiences, all to help people gain their influence. And so it is one that is geared towards people who are maybe managing their own company and or managing others and or managing very strategic relationships. So we've had two cohorts. We've had two cohorts go through, and today we have two guests from our very first cohort to talk a little bit about just what the experience was for them and what they might suggest for other people who are considering it. So would love you both to introduce yourselves if you could, and maybe a little bit about why you chose to do the Business Leadership Program.
We became a team back in early 2023, which is about the time that we joined the program. It came to us right when we needed it. We had been solopreneurs as solo agents and realized that we would be better together. And we just had a lot of challenges to get through. Once we became a team, it wasn't quite as easy or smooth as we thought it would be. A lot of it was just managing people and becoming really good communicators with each other. And we had a coach already, more of a real estate coach. So this brought us a different perspective. It brought people from other industries that, oddly enough, had some of the same challenges. So we were really happy that the program presented itself to us. Liz kind of pushed us and said, you should really do it. You should really do it. And we finally bit the bullet and did it, and so appreciative.
Pam.
Yeah, I'm Pam Waldman, the other half of Waldman and James Realty Group. And, similarly, like Lara had said, when we had joined forces, you can be really good at what you do. We're very good at helping people buy and sell and upsize and downsize and do 1031 exchanges or pulling money out of your equity to remodel your kitchen, whatever it is. But when it came to leadership, when we merged and formed a team, that is really a different aspect of the business. There's working on the business and working in the business. And when we turned to be leaders, that was an opportunity that we had to join this program. And like Lara had said, it had come just at the right time. And having that opportunity to really learn from experienced leaders in our community and connect with other professionals in our community, which I think we'll talk about hopefully in a little bit, is the network we formed just with our cohorts that were part of this program. But it was really a way to refine how we showed up for our team, our clients, and our community. And it was a really great program.
One of the things that we always try to do is make sure that people are not just learning stuff, but they're actually implementing it. And along the way, you had talked a lot about the things that you're like, oh, we actually went back and used this today. And just for other people to know, the program kind of starts with flashlight on self. How do I want to be as a leader? And then we spend a lot of time on how do I work with others? How do I understand other personality types and how they might need to hear information? How do I have really good conversations with people, not just conversations where I'm pushing my ideas on them, but I'm actually pulling. We coach each other on real things. So people are bringing things to the table and actually practicing the tools, but they're also getting coaching at the same time from one another, which is really great. And then we spend a lot of time with how do we create environments that include everybody? We have a lot of different voices at the table and we want to make sure those voices are heard. And it's not easy to create that safety. Coupled on to safety is also change and helping bring people through change, which everybody goes through all the time. So a lot of different ways to apply right away. I'm curious for both of you, what is it that you did learn from the program? Maybe there's some specific tools or concepts that have stayed with you over time. And then how have you implemented that into just your everyday, how you're leading every day?
It's funny, Heather, because the pushing and pulling conversations that I distinctly remember you leading that session and talking about that was a really important one, especially at the time. We were going through, I don't know if you remember, we were going through a bit of a challenging environment. And you will have, as a leader, employees and people that work for you that sometimes you have challenges with. And it's either moving through it or moving on from it. That session was so important, learning to just ask better questions, really listening deeply, creating accountability.
In preparing for this conversation, revisiting some of the topics that we covered in our classes, one of the things that I went back and looked at was like, oh yeah, the inclusivity piece and making sure people feel heard. We've got a few different personality types on our team, and some of them won't necessarily speak up. So what are the things that you ask to make sure they feel included, to make sure they stay motivated? Because there's nothing worse than that whole concept of whether someone is above the line or below the line. And what happens when we send one of our people below the line? We have one employee who's just, her personality is to be a giver and a helper, but she's sensitive. And if we're too abrupt in our go, go, go mentality, we could actually trigger her to go below, demotivate her, make her sad. And so we just need to be, just having that awareness is so valuable.
Yes, totally. I feel like so many leaders don't understand the impact that they have on people. And I am a pleaser and a giver. I will put that out there for sure. And so when somebody comes and they're like, let's get down to work and these things, it's like, they're mad at me. They didn't even, say hi. Whereas you're just in mode. It's not like you're not mad at all, but I'm wasting brain space. Like a lot of what we were trying to do is help people stop wasting brain space. We want people to go to work, have a great time, do their thing, work really hard, but leave and not worry about it. And just you thinking through and being like, here's this personality style, here's how I need to approach them, really does help that person not go below the line and worry about whether they're taking care of you in the way that you need.
Yeah.
What surprised you as you were going through the program?
I know one thing that surprised me just on day one. I'm not sure what it was that you and Phil did, what your secret sauce was, but you got everybody to be very quickly vulnerable and trusting and open and not set the tone for the whole 6 months, once a month, 6 months. But our cohort, which was about, I think, 8 people, we connected very, very quickly. And I think it was the leadership that you guys provided on that first day. You set the tone, and as open as people were, made it so valuable.
Everything in the way that we do things is really there to help people really get real.
I agree with that vulnerability piece a lot too. I mean, and from the beginning, because that, creating that space for us all. And again, people will be in different places in their leadership journey. And, all of us were, but we all came together because leaders do face similar challenges, similar highs and lows. But I think what surprised me too, honestly, was how practical the program was. I mean, I knew it would be great content, but what stood out to me was how immediately useful the tools were. We could just walk out of a session and really apply it like that same afternoon. I remember specifically times that I did that. And, I was just surprised at the impact of the small shifts, just changing how I would ask questions or the way I listen, and how that just really transforms the dynamic of conversations I was having. And, again, really the community. Didn't know what to expect, but building such a strong community. I mean, we still talk to that group today and have happy hours and like bounce things off of each other and ideas and concepts.
And I love that you brought that up, because that's one of the goals with this program, is that we as leaders, it's pretty lonely out there. And when you are in a company, an organization, you are leading, you don't have that many mentors that you can pick up the phone, and peer mentors that you can pick up the phone and be like, hey. And this program is really geared towards being able to pick up the phone, engage somebody and say, I love the way you ask questions. I love the way you think. Would you mind coaching me around this? And that is our goal, is to really create that glue within this community. And or when you're out in the community and you see somebody, you really know them. You know who they are as a human and a person. And so there's no way that somebody's not going to buy from you guys or sell their house through you guys, because they know how genuinely awesome you are and how you show up for your clients, because they've been hearing about it, and how you approach your work and each other, right? How you approach each other is important too, along the way. And so I think it's that authenticity, but also that we want a city filled with people who really can count on each other and know each other and reach out in the future. And that's our continued goal with these programs. So someone's thinking about this, there's chamber members, but we can also have people outside the chamber that do this program. So we want people from corporate environments, but also business owners and different industries actually really make this a wonderful program. And so if I am out there and I'm thinking about potentially sending either some of my employees, or I'm thinking about going myself, what advice would you give, or what would you say to them to kind of make that decision? I know you took some time to make that decision, so what would you advise?
If you're considering it, to just go in, be open, and be ready to be challenged. The more you engage and the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. It's one of those. Don't just go in and say, I'm going to take notes. I mean, there's lots of seminars and webinars, things you can do where you're sitting there and I take such good notes. This is one where it's not. I mean, of course I took some notes, but when you engage and truly apply and plug yourself in, you'll see it on the back end.
One of the things too, just as small business owners, it's an expense. And that was, I think, one of the things that we were like, oh gosh, we already pay for coaching. Do we do this too? And the chamber made it really easy for us. They allowed us to pay in increments. So the fact that we could budget for it and pay in small chunks made it a lot easier for us to participate. So I think people should know that there are ways that they can budget for it, because it really is some of the cheapest coaching you can get on how to be a leader and a manager. And you're learning skills that you not only can apply in your work, but you can take them outside of work. You can take them to your kids. You can take them to your marriage. You can take them to other partnerships you might have. And also for us, to our clients.
And if you can wrangle family conversations, then you can wrangle any business conversation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right? Like, Mom, is that the pushing, pulling conversation? Is that the motivating self and others conversation, Mom?
Yes. Which mom are we bringing to the table today? That's awesome. And then, so small business, larger business, our goal is really to have people come through. Like, I love that the two of you did it together. I think it's really cool when companies send 2 or more people to this program, because not only do they get to know each other as good humans and they work better together, but they also have some common tools and language that they can continue to use. So even in conversations, I don't know if you've ever done this, but like, hey, I'm finding myself going below the line right now. And just kind of flagging that for each other gives you an okay way to say, I just need to take a minute. Let me just, go take a walk. I'll be back kind of thing. Above or below the line, meaning that when I'm above the line, I'm coming from the front part of my brain, which is the one that can reason and rationalize and cooperate, create, innovate. It's coming from a place of power. It's coming from a place of, yeah, there's this thing going wrong, but there's a gift there. I'm going to figure out what that is. Let me approach it from a thoughtful and productive way. Below the line is where we spend 2/3 of our time, because we are humans and we have a caveman brain or cave person brain, whatever you want to call it. And that's coming from the base of the brain, which is really our emotional response to things. And our first response is, what are they thinking? Or why did they do that? Or who do they think they are? And so we go up, down all day long. And the goal is not to be above the line all the time, but to notice when I'm below the line and then decide. And so the line is a very clear place of, yeah, there's this stressful thing or there's this great thing going on. Am I approaching it from Debbie Downer, or am I approaching it from blaming other people? Am I approaching it from, we call it a hero, where I'm like, I have to bring everything and do everything myself, versus coming from above the line where it's like, oh, what can we learn? Yeah, we lost that sale. Great. Lost that sale. You know what? Is that the right client? Did we prepare the right way for that conversation? How do I want to show up differently next time? Maybe our marketing materials could be different so it's more clear so that they understand what we could offer. Oh, maybe we didn't ask the right powerful questions. What questions? So coming from a place of more productive of, here's where we are, where do we want to go? So I know there's different components of the program that we had done. So it's 6 months, 1 day a month. And I know that was a big thing for you guys, right? And for a lot of people. Can you help us with a little bit of like why that either was the right way to do it, or that it made it okay to, was it a good use of that time?
1 day a month actually worked well. It would give us the time in between. And again, if you're really implementing it and using the tools like we did, I mean, really taking that session that you learned, being able to implement it and see the times when that's needed, and then it's building on the months before, the cadence was helpful in that way. Because you can think like, well, once a month, I mean, how do you retain or keep 30 days later? But I do feel like it built upon each, it layered. So by the end of it, it all made sense, and you really had time to learn and implement and grow.
Some other things that we brought into play, we have a leader come and speak at most of them. We try to find a business leader. Those change up every year. But help me with your experience of some of the people that came in to speak.
The ones that I remember the most were Mark Waller and Kabir. Kabir spoke about change management and specifically about the Habitat for Humanity board and what occurred when they took the two different chapters of Habitat and merged them together, and how he helped as a board leader manage the staff through that. That was a quick part of his talk. And then he also talked about his servant leadership with hunger fighters and his work to get hunger fighters going, and, from very much a student-led organization to something now that's become this big, wonderful resource for the less fortunate in our community. So I loved his talk. And also Mark Waller. He's a Rotary member, I believe, and he also talked a lot about servant leadership and networking, and I loved his message. I loved how much he gives back to the community.
I felt, Shari Newman was and I've seen her, speak a couple times in different places and out in the community. And she, is not only just a lovely woman and soul, but the heart that she has for her people is amazing.
Learning from those leaders that have been there and done that. And are they perfect? Heck no. But they come and they share their stories. We ask them to share something real that, even that they've gone through. So we'll continue to do that. And then another part of the program is the one-on-one coaching. So everybody gets one meeting that they get to work with, because some of the stuff that you bring to the table, you don't necessarily want to bring to the whole cohort. And so you do have an opportunity for that one-on-one session. And so I'm curious what your thoughts are around that and how that added to your experience.
I had you, Heather, as my one-on-one coach. And I think you're right. Although it created such a vulnerable space, we had talked about that in the cohort, in the group. From the get-go, we were all open and honest with each other, and that led to just great discussions and a great 6 months. But having that time with you one-on-one where it did get a little deeper, more vulnerable, and having conversations where it was really the heart of maybe me and some either challenges I was facing or some successes I was having or looking to have. And that opened it up differently in a way that, strictly you can get on one-on-ones, but I appreciated that portion of it.
Yeah, I had you too. And we had a great conversation.
Yeah, I think it's really just having that opportunity to show up. And so if there's anything you would add for people that are considering the programs, they have not only the 6 months, once a month, where they're coming in for a day, they have the cohort, we have different people from the community coming in to speak, but then also this opportunity towards the end with this one-on-one sort of like, where are you now? Where do you want to go after this program kind of thing? Anything else you would add?
I just really enjoyed it. I think Pam and I got a lot out of it. We're better leaders, better managers, better realtors because of the program. So I very much appreciate what we got to do with you and all the people we got to meet.
On a broader level, I think the program gave me some framework for guiding people through change, which has been really critical in real estate. There is a lot of, markets shift. There's uncertainty out there. It's helped me become more intentional about how I lead and how I show up every day.
Well, I also just want to put in a plug for the community work that the two of you do, the way that you show up for not only the chamber, but the community overall, the foundation, the schools, the everything. Like, you are really embedded here. And to me, that's part of leadership as well. So I just really appreciate that about the two of you.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
great. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks.
Well, you're welcome, Pam Waldman, Laura James, Walden and James Realty Group, waldmanandjamesrealtygroup.com. Okay, Liz, let's get your expertise in here and let's talk about what we need to know in LO.
Well, if you're listening the first week of October, this is your last chance to get your wine walk tickets. We will be sold out this year, and it will be fabulous with 40 pouring locations and 80 wines to taste. The next thing to put on your calendar is Sunday, October 12th, over at Millennium Park Plaza from 2 to 5 p.m., where we're doing a wellness fair. And we have about 30 local folks who are coming out to tell you a little bit about what can make your life a little bit easier or make your life a little bit healthier. It's a great opportunity to talk to the owners and the managers direct face-to-face. We'll have a little music going, and the fire department's coming out for that hands-only CPR. So we're looking forward to this year's wellness fair. You just heard a little bit about business leadership development. And October is a great month to fill out the application form. It's on the website. Go to lakeoswegochamber.com and then go to our programs. And this is one that you can get into and be ready for January. And if you need a payment program, we will set up a payment program so you can start right in January and plan for 2026. One of the greatest things you can do in October is help us recognize people in the community who should be honored. So our community awards event is in February, but the awards team is working in October and November. So if you have someone you want to nominate for Community Leader of the Year, or for the Bill Korach Leadership Award, or Business of the Year, or Networker of the Year, this is the time to do it. October is the month to make nominations, so put that on your calendar. And we should mention that October is Meals on Wheels month, and our business community gets behind this program every single year. We want to support our Meals on Wheels program because it is surprising how many of our local citizens are served by this program. I want to make a note that it is wonderful that a past president of the Chamber, Heather Graves Ramsey, is chairing the school district bond campaign, but also want to note that we vet these ballot measures. We have a government affairs committee that went through and learned about the bond and what it was doing, and they've done it with the past two bonds. And then they take the recommendation to the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. The Board of Directors approved it, and the Chamber of Commerce will have a statement of support in the voters pamphlet. So the Chamber of Commerce takes this seriously. It's not just because our own Heather Graves Ramsey is there that we approve it or that we back it up. We back it up because it's the right thing for our community.
Yes, we have a very important bond coming up, and it is the Lake Oswego School District bond. It affects all the schools in the district, and it is one that does not increase taxes. And it is something that's going to be important for your businesses because people move here because of schools and safety, and they have their businesses here because of schools and safety, as well as our fabulous business community. And so we want to keep that going. And so we need you to help spread the word, to have you, your neighbors, everybody vote. It's the only thing on the ballot. If anybody has any questions, I am leading the citizens campaign for that, but also the school district has a ton of information on their website about the specifics of what schools will be getting, but no increase in taxes. You can't go wrong by taking care of your schools and creating safe, resilient, ready for learning places. And I've been learning a ton about these robotics kids who are doing such amazing work and they don't have a space to do it. And so there's that. And then there's two of our oldest schools from the 1940s, as old as my mom, are needing to be replaced. And we need to make sure people are in safe places.
For all of our businesses out there, you may be planning for your calendar year marketing budget. Now is the time to contact the Lake Oswego Review and Greed LO and Lake Oswego Lifestyle and Modcast Productions. You want to take a look with Steve Edwards or with Bella Ballo for videography. We can't forget Riley Nelson over at Coin TV. So we have a lot of representatives from media that will help you put your budget together for 2026. Or if you're a quarterly planner, check with them anytime.
And I would say, too, the Chamber of Commerce has events that have anywhere from 600 to 5,000 people, and those are a great place to be able to put your sponsorship dollars out there. And so as you're thinking of, please look at our website. We've got a ton of different sponsorship opportunities. Not only does it help support the community, but it really does get your name out there with the people that you want your name out there.
Good stuff. Thank you, ladies, for all you do. And remember, every day is a Chamber of Commerce Day here in Lake Oswego.
The Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce thanks you for listening to Business LO. We would love to have you as a member so you can help Lake Oswego continue to be one of the best places to live, work, and play. If you want to share an idea for a future episode or become a member, visit us at lakeoswegochamber.com and please like and follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And for help with your business podcast, go to modcastproductions.com.